Hello and welcome. Let's look at the remaining 2024 going into 2025. I want to touch on some information that came to me the other day, especially as I record this video on the day before the lunar eclipse in Pisces. But what occurred to me as far as where we're going with this, now that we're going to have a nodal axis shift in January 2025, and especially with the changing of numbers and numerology and just what is happening in the world. I'm not going to give necessarily a prediction of what is going to come within the world as far as any details, but I will give an overview of what to expect, of what might happen in your own experience, but also what might be a theme for our collective. Now, the remaining 2024, we still are in, of course, a universal year 8, but what happens in about November approximately, there is a bit of a crossover of energy bleeding into the new year. 2025, and I'm going to record a whole separate video closer to the date. This is a bit of a taste of what is to come, looking a little bit forward as far as what is going to be a theme, possibly, especially with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, giving us a little bit of a taste of what is to come. So pay attention right now to the unfoldings of what you are experiencing on a deeper self, within your deeper self, within maybe your own spiritual self, any realizations, any wisdom that might be coming to the surface, dreams, imagination, feelings, senses, emotional connections, maybe even connecting more with your heart, or even feeling inspired all of a sudden to try a new spiritual modality or spiritual practice, or even all of a sudden imagining potentials of your future. This is going to be a theme for 2025, but I'm going to get into some of the crossovers between numerology and astrology on a very high level of what to expect for this upcoming year and for the remaining 2024. Now, 2024 naturally was a big year. We are in just naturally a big shift right now of consciousness. The divide of consciousness is becoming greater. I've talked about this already, where those who have been on the path of awakening, of transcendence, deepening their spiritual practice, going into the shadow, awakening new levels of consciousness, are naturally going to feel more and more and more whole. They are going to see more. They're going to see the truth of the world, truth within themselves, etc. And unfortunately, those who are not venturing on that path will stay and remain relatively the same in their own way. Now, there, of course, are going to be crossovers naturally between these two dynamics within the world and all of what is happening in between, of course, as many people will naturally begin to progress into greater levels of consciousness. Not everyone, of course, but those who already have been really deepening their practice will notice great shifts now within their spiritual self, within their whole self. When we move into the year 2025, we are moving into a universal year 9. We are, as I mentioned, in a year 8 this year, which has two meanings to it. Now, the first one is going to be the more general term of personal power, prosperity, even a very high friction kind of occurrence in the collective to do with power plays. Now, this I've talked about a lot regarding the power positions that have been in power for many centuries, if you will, or years or decades, or however you want to look at it, are now becoming stronger with their reinforcement of their positioning, because the other half of humanity, if you want to call half or other dynamic in humanity, is starting to challenge old ways. Now, this is also leading us into Pluto moving into Aquarius as well, which I'm sure you're very familiar of. This is the natural lead up. Now, everything is happening in natural order, even within yourself. Even if you have questions about that and doubts, which I have, I now see how perfectly this is unfolding. Even in the discomfort, even in the challenges, this is naturally unfolding in a beautiful, beautiful way. Yes, we do have to go through our challenges, and this is the hopes of my channel, is to shed light on some of the challenging aspects of ourselves so that we can rise above, so that we can step into our wholeness, our fullness, our alignment within, all of the above, so that we can manifest, we can create a new level of alignment, our new world of alignment, of peace, of harmony, and all the above, all the good stuff. Now, the other component of the universal year 8 is the balance within ourselves. So if this resonates with you, a potential occurrence that could have happened is many of us potentially could have gone through a lot of shifting, a lot of changing within ourself, maybe death of the ego, maybe alignment with our deeper self, understanding our maybe false beliefs, our shadow, what has been throwing us off balance. Again, the relationship with the ego, for example, even the relationship with fear and limitations and any kind of restrictions. When those aspects of ourselves are in play or are interfering with our ability to manifest in who we are, there will be a natural misalignment. Our manifestations will not be able to fully be created in fruition because of these misalignments that we have within ourselves, these dormant fears, the unconscious patterns, the false beliefs, aspects of ourselves that we have not seen before, we have not looked at, or that we avoid. All of these aspects that we avoid, that we suppress, that we numb, the shadow, for example, will create a misalignment within ourselves, thus, of course, impacting our ability or inability to manifest. The 8 has offered us an incredible opportunity to restore balance within ourselves. Now, you can think of the 8 as the infinity sign on its side. When we are in alignment, being the conduit between the lower planes and the higher realms, we can manifest. We are in alignment. We are void and rid of our fears for the most part. I know it's a work in progress, but when we have done the deep work, we do become more and more and more aligned. We become more whole, and we become more grounded in the practical and connected with the ethereal. And so we do have now this natural progression in this year 8 to work with our own manifestation practices. And this is part of also this lunar eclipse in Pisces and North Node where we're going. So this little bit here in 2024 is a bit of a last ditch effort to align, to do the deep work, to let go of the fears, to get real about what is in the unseen, in the shadow, in the unconscious that are creating the limitations, the resistance, the barriers, the isolation, the withdrawal, the ego plays, so that we can identify what they are and create greater alignment within ourselves for greater empowerment and ability to manifest. Now, this is also leading me into 2025 with the year 9. Okay, so 9 is no joke. This is a very serious number, and I'm not going to say that to invoke fear. This is a very big year that we're going into. You might already be hearing from other people. I try my best not to watch too many other content creators. I need to keep it focused within my own and just get a sense of what's happening within how I see it and how I'm feeling and what I'm sensing, as far as also connecting the dots with certain patterns and certain occurrences in a little bit astrology and numerology also. When we go into probably around November, December, the 9 is going to be in effect. It's going to start to bleed into 2025. The 9 represents endings. 9 also is a little bit relatable to Pisces in the astrology calendar, meaning that it is a time of endings. It is a time of an end of a cycle. In Pisces, as Pisces is moving, the North Node is moving into Pisces. This is also a time of some type of ending and culmination that is going to allow us to transcend, to point us towards our North Star, our destiny, if you will, or our soul's calling. We are going to feel more attuned. We are going to feel more sensitive. We are going to feel gravitated towards a higher state of being, towards a higher state of consciousness, transcendence. That is the theme of 2025 as I see it, is transcendence. Now, because we have a universal year 9, this is a year of endings. There can be hard endings. There could be death. There could be devastation. But with death, we get rebirth. We get the awakening. We get more wisdom and more understanding and more compassion towards ourselves, towards humanity, and the greater good, the greater all. So the 9 is a very wise number. It is the ending point of a chapter, of a cycle, where one becomes more wise, becomes wiser within oneself. One becomes more enlightened because of a change and transformation. Now, this does have a little bit of that death and rebirth flavor happening for 2025, plus Pluto now in Aquarius moving into 2025. And there's a big, big story and a big theme playing out here. So I would suggest now, as we are preparing to end the year off, we are still in the year and the frequency of 8. This is a time, I feel, to really cultivate the alignment within ourselves and to let go and to start to release, or at least shine light on what has been holding us back. What is creating the fear, the resistance, the worry, the doubt, the negativity? What are we holding on to? What can we fully come to terms with and prepare to let go and release, especially in 2025? And when we do that, we are going to be supported by the North Node in Pisces, which is going to allow us to transcend. It's a very, very powerful year that we're stepping into. So a lot of you may already be on that path. You might already be seeing the patterns of your life situations unfold to prepare you for this year in some kind of way. It can be a cosmic way. It can be a deep personal way, a deep personal aspect and experience within yourself where you all of a sudden are feeling, wow, okay, I get it. I get life. I am here. Or you might even feel called to dabble into more spiritual practices, more modalities, spiritual understanding, spiritual attunement, and even connecting with your heart, maybe healing relationships, maybe bringing people together. Also connecting with your dreams and imagination. So I know a lot of people out there have had heightened dreams. I have as well. This also can be a theme as we move into 2025. I have also noticed that my dreams have changed over the last couple months, actually, specifically after the full moon in Aquarius. My dreams are becoming of a different flavor and a different sense. So pay attention to your dreams, as that is going to offer a very significant clue as to what can be unfolding within your life in the bigger landscape. Dreams also do connect us with our psyche and do connect us with certain archetypal aspects within ourselves, and you can dive deeper into your dream analysis. I am not an expert, however, I do want to study it in the future, as I do feel there's a lot of value. If you have read the book Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you have not, I highly suggest getting that book. I will leave a link below as well. It will give you a lot more insight and information of how to do a little bit more dream analysis based on his work. But I highly recommend, nonetheless, paying attention to your dreams and paying attention to your feelings and your heart, especially the connection with your higher self. This is a year where a lot of people might actually also want to dabble in spirituality. They might all of a sudden become open and awakened and interested and curious, maybe even in their own privacy of their home, which is fine, to dabble a little bit more, to peek onto YouTube and watch a little bit more content on understanding their spiritual self. So this year in 2025 could very well open up a type of awakening process on a different scale than 2020 did. It will also be really important for you to know your personal year number. I will leave a link below as well for you to find that out. It's very important to understand our flavor for the year of what we might experience, the theme, and how to be conscious and create greater awareness within ourselves of how to navigate these years as we move along. It will provide you with an overarching theme for the year and also an ability to sense your way through maybe challenging times, or to navigate and to empower yourself to take full advantage of what the year is offering for yourself. The more awareness that we have with these aspects of ourselves and what the universe is providing us, the greater ability we will have to create greater self-actualization within ourselves and to understand the deeper aspects of ourselves. Thus, of course, opening up greater levels of consciousness, awareness, and self-mastery, to be the master of self, but also to understand how we can empower ourselves for greater change and manifestation, for example. Now, it's no surprise that many countries on our planet right now are facing extreme conflict, levels of conflict, and it is only going to increase 2025 with the year 9, with the North Node in Pisces as well. I'm going to focus more on the North Node in Pisces with this particular video. I will speak on the South Node in Virgo when we get closer to the date, and I will give more information on this exact nodal axis shift. But I do want to highlight specifically Pisces and 9, as this is going to be very important to remember. Also, yes, Pluto going into Aquarius, and this is going to solidify big change that we are going to experience in the years to come, both with technology, AI, and also, of course, inner conflict, revolution, humanity, freedom, liberation, bettering humanity for our future and for the greatest good of all. It's already happening. So we are going to witness a lot of shifts, a lot of change, a lot of conflict in our world, but it is going to be for the greatest good of all. It's for our evolution, and especially, again, like I said, the North Node in Pisces and the year 9 are all coming together very powerfully, and I couldn't even have predicted this to happen so perfectly as it is. It is just amazing in alignment with these three aspects of our year coming up and what we have to work with. It is happening perfectly. We all have an opportunity to choose how we perceive these unfoldings, and I will be guiding you through this as we move along. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor of what is coming, especially with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, a little bit of a taste of what could be unfolding within yourself. Pay attention again to your dreams, to your spiritual self, what is coming to some kind of change and maybe even some kind of culmination within yourself and within relationships around you. Relationships were a theme for this year, finding balance with maybe new relationships, new types of relationships, setting you on course for healthy, balanced, meaningful relationships that are in alignment with yourself. And of course, repairing old relationships or releasing from old relationships from the past, finding balance within yourself and aligning with your truth, your inner truth, and removing any limitations, false beliefs around self-suppression. So aligning with our inner truth, moving towards our destiny with that North Node in Aries is finalizing and coming to a conclusion. So look back at the last year, what has changed and maybe why? Why has it changed? Where is it leading you? What do you feel is going to appear in your life, or what would you like to appear in your life? The more aligned you can be with this 8, the better. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm wishing you all the best on this journey and beyond, and I'll be back, of course, to give you updates as we move along. Take care.